Did anyone know this was a thing that was happening?
Yeah, when you texted me, you were doing this live episode. That was it.
Yeah, same.
I thought it was a mistake. I was like, Tony, why are we talking about Zorro?
That movie's old. What do you mean?
Please,
So, Adam,
did you make this thumbnail, or is this really the wallpaper that they have?
This is real. This
Holy
is real.
shit, that's bad.
So when I was coming up with the list of things to do for this, I wanted to keep it short, and obviously January is where they dump their shit movies. Saltburn is technically December, but it didn't become public till January, like it was playing in small theaters. So I turn on Amazon Prime and I see Zorro, and I'm like, I'm sorry, they rebooted Zorro on one of the biggest streaming platforms, and they didn't mention it at all. I didn't see one news article, one commercial, absolutely nothing. I don't think anyone knew this existed. Did anyone watch it?
Oh, yeah.
I watched one episode.
One episode.
Okay. I only watched the first episode. Okay. Does anyone like Zorro? I actually really like Zorro. like just the character in general. I used to watch the serials with my grandfather, the 90s show. I love the Antonio Banderas movie. Second one, not so much. If you're a kid who likes to dab, you probably don't know who Zorro is. Pretty much any superhero that has a secret identity kind of comes from Zorro, who stole it from the Scarlet Pimpernel. Nothing is original. Nothing is original.
Most people know who Puss in Boots is. That's basically Zorro, and it's also Antonio Banderas.
It's all
Love it.
But yeah, these two characters kind of popularized the whole like a guy who does good but has a secret identity and has an alternate personality. So yeah, I checked out the show, the pilot, and I thought it was fine. It's Zorro. They're adding a little bit. I mean, I'm not gonna pretend to be well versed in Zorro. I don't know all the lore. There's like 10,000 movies and a million shows. Adam, I know you said you love Zorro and the Gay Blade. That was your favorite. Yep. But they're adding like a mystical element to it with the natives, which I thought was cool. Overall, I thought it was like a fine interpretation so far. It didn't rewrite the wheel, as people say. As a lot of people say. But Joey C, what did you think?
Well, I popped a special brownie and giggled.
God damn it, Joey!
I watched the first episode. Right, he's going to Cali. He's got to avenge his father's death. It was fun. I've never seen anything Zorro, including the original. But it was very cheesy, and I giggled a lot. Not because of the brownie, because of the show, of course. But I dig it. It's an easy watch. The story is easy to follow, and I had a lot of fun with it. That's really it. It's nothing special, but it's fun. It's fun to put in the background.
Let the record show I will be drug testing the panel every month. So everyone needs to send me urine samples.
Shit.
Tony.
Tony, would you like my urine sample on top of the stool sample I recently
Can Gay show up and pee? Or
you could just throw those in at the same time. You put them in the same package. That's fine.
Along with my blood and hair. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
God.
I'm trying to clone Adam in case he dies, okay? Gil, what did you think of Zorro?
Wow, that was great pronunciation. Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything both of you said. I think the first 10 to 15 minutes, it was what I expected, and I wasn't into it. It was half overly dramatic music over sequences I didn't really care about yet. Action that felt very TV action. A lot of quick cuts.
It was a little CW. It was a little CW.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It felt like a CW show. A lot of just random slow motion. Someone takes a sword out and they're just holding it in slow motion. Nothing really interesting. But once you get past the opening setup, then like you guys said, it's a journey we've seen before. Classic throwback, swashbuckling adventure. And when you're talking about something you've seen before, what I think matters most is just the characters that are going on this journey. And I found Diego, Lolita, the dynamics between them, they were fun, charming. And if you're looking for that kind of a throwback, I think it's a fun show.
Yeah, it's very safe and very simple. But the person we want to hear most from, because Adam, you didn't watch this, right?
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I'm gonna actually go against what Gil said, though. I thought Diego and Lolita, or whatever the fuck her name is, they were great. I thought it was a really fun.
Isn't that what I said?
Show. They had good chemistry. Pretty much the opposite of what Gil had to say on this one. I'm in stark contrast with the rest of the panel.
Okay, but first the most important voice here, because he is a Spanish hero in California. There's a lot of Mexicans and whatnot running around. So, of course, our Latinx correspondent, Mike, how did you feel about this one?
I had fun with it. I actually watched it with my nephew, and I watched it. And I'm assuming all you guys watched the dubbed. You guys all watched it in English?
Yeah, because that was funny.
Yeah.
I think the funnier version to watch.
Actually, I started dubbed, and I was like, "What is wrong with this?" The subtitles didn't match what they were saying, but they did such a good job of picking words that almost matched the lip movements. And then I switched. I don't know if it's coincidence, but I said I started enjoying it more 10 minutes in. That's when I switched to subtitles.
But yeah, Mike, continue. And he froze.
No!
That's great.
It's like, I have something to say.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
He's
He's back.
Am I back?
You're back.
Yes.
Am I back?
Yes, you're back.
Okay. No, I watched it with my nephew, and if it was something like in Spanish to get him into, he was actually sitting down here with me watching it. So I think I'm going to continue to watch it. It's getting him into something that's non-English. So a little more with our culture. I mean, it's not Puerto Rican, but close enough.
Wait.
It's not,
As our Latin,
cool.
As our Latinx correspondent, have we used you for any Puerto Rican thing at all? I think we used Blue Beetle, which was Mexican.
Blue Beetle. Well, the dude was Puerto Rican in Transformers, so we can go with that.
The dude was Puerto Rican in Transformers. There you go. We did it. We found it. We did it.
So we got it. It's all.
But I'm glad we got a Latinx person to talk about it. But the internet cares what white women think. Crystal, what did you think?
At first I was not enjoying it. I thought, oh my God, Tony, what the hell?
To keep going.
I was not the biggest fan of it at first. I thought I was watching the dubbed version and I thought the acting was really forced. The action was forced. And then towards the end, I was like, oh, I kind of want to see what's next. I kind of got sucked into the corniness of it and started following them a little bit more. And I bet if I watched the second episode, I would have been sucked in. But I did wish I went to the subtitle version, though, because the dub, it was just throwing me off too much.
Yeah. The biggest mystery is like why this wasn't promoted. So apparently they shot this in like 2022. It's like a Mexican production. And it's just been sitting around, and then they quietly released it. But the thing that surprised me is because for years I've heard that they're rebooting Zorro. They're going to do it this way. They're going to do it that way. And I always see these news stories. Meanwhile, they finally reboot it, and I saw nothing. So this was a big surprise. And I was excited to watch the rest of the show. But then I saw a thumbnail for an upcoming episode, and I saw Lady Zorro, and I went, Lady Zorro, El No.
He's been waiting to fucking say that all day.
That was not worth the wait.
He's been waiting to say that for like a week.
Cinco de Mayo, sales commission, goodbye.
Bro, I might unsubscribe. You might lose your Latinx correspondent after tonight.
No, actually, in all seriousness, this girl is a native, and she thinks she should have gotten the mantle of Zorro.
Yeah.
So she's competing with who the Fox Spirit picked as Zorro. So I'm actually interested to see what they do with that. I think that's pretty cool.
Next, she kicked his ass when they were fighting. She kicked his ass.
That was after he fought a bunch of guys, though.
Yeah, he was tired. He was tired.
He was fighting at night, and then it was morning. He was up all night.
He was up all night.
He didn't have coffee.
Yeah.
His arms were both broken.
Yeah. Okay. Oh man! See, if I were to ever lose to Kid Osborne for the same reason, it's because I already fought 10 men and he got lucky.
Gotcha. Climbing up ceilings. I gotcha.
Yes. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, not to be confused with Mr. and Mrs. Smith, or Mr. and Mrs. Smith, or skipped ahead, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, or the unaired pilot sequel to Mr. and Mrs. Smith. No, this is the new Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
I've never heard of Mr. and Mrs. Smith before.
Oh,
So
you
weird.
didn't. Okay, real quick, Crystal. I'm skipping you for a second. You texted me saying you watched the entire series of this.
I did.
Okay. I have Sarah, did you watch this one?
I didn't get to. I'm sorry.
Okay. Ash and Adam, did you guys watch this?
I didn't, but I'm just going to say right now I probably wouldn't like it knowing that it's a remake after something that's already been done 10 times. I despise remakes usually, so 1 out of 10
really
for
like Donald Glover.
not creative.
Huh? Sorry,
I mean,
Sarah,
I do
what'd you
really
say?
like Donald Glover.
I like him too. And I was like, maybe this will be good. Joey, I think you had the same experience I did. We watched the first episode.
Yeah.
And we went, oh my God, this is fucking boring. Does anything happen? It starts off with Alexander Skarsgård and Isa Gonzalez. You know, they had such electric chemistry in Godzilla versus Kong. So they show up and I'm like, oh, well, they're obviously dying in the opening scene. This is very obvious. So, of course, that happens. They die. And then we follow these two. They're joining like a secret agent organization. They're pretending to be husband and wife. And they go on the most boring mission possible. And I think that was supposed to be the point for the ending of the episode where there's this big explosive finale that catches you off guard. But me and Joey, I don't know how you felt. I can't suffer through another episode of that. I'm giving up. Is that how you felt, Joey?
Yeah, I have a little less life in me now that I've watched this show.
Yeah. Crystal, why the hell did you watch the rest of this series?
Okay. I have 2 reasons.
Okay.
One, because at the end, oh my God, I'm going to fuck up the one lady's name. At the end, they kind of showed what you were going to see. I don't know if you saw that part. And I saw Ron Perlman and the other girl's name that I fucking love. Clearly, I love her because I can't remember her name.
Yeah, that's a good sign that you love someone.
She was in American Horror Story. That's like the main one I love her in. Please help me.
There's a lot of women.
I know.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Mr. and I. All right, I'm gonna try to keep talking as I look this up.
God, Parker Posey is in this.
Not Parker. Oh, I do love Parker Posey.
Oh, I love Parker Posey.
She's phenomenal, but it wasn't her. It was. She plays a psychiatrist in this or a therapist, and I waited. Because I had. They're both in. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Parker Posey was actually really good in this too.
Okay.
Shit, what is her name? Almost fucking there.
God, Crystal. Ursula.
Tony, I didn't watch Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but I watched a couple other things because I'm just so excited for them to get remade. So I watched Twister, I watched Roadhouse, I watched Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. I watched the live action remake of Avatar, The Last Airbender. I've just been having a fucking day of it over here.
Are they remaking Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead?
Yes, they put out a weird trailer yesterday that didn't even feel like a finished trailer. Crystal, is it Sarah Paulson?
Sarah Paulson, yeah.
Okay.
I just looked at the thing. I didn't know David Tell was in this. He was the kosher food mart clerk. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I didn't get to any of these actors. Like I said, me and Joey tapped out after episode 1.
Yeah.
Should I keep going?
So this is what I'll say on that. I really just wanted to see those 2 people, and I thought it was boring as hell at first as well. And then I was like, well, I'm working on something right now. And then I was like, well, if I watch another of the films that I had to watch, I was like, I don't want to have to pay attention. I'm working on something. So this was the best series I could ever have where I was still able to watch it and pay attention, like know what's happening, but still get work done. Yeah. It was the perfect thing to have in the background. The character chemistry is okay. It does build. They do go on better missions. There's definitely some comedy, but it's one of those things where I could work for a while and then I look up and I didn't really miss anything. I could keep going with the storyline. It was entertaining enough for me to enjoy it and get work done. I didn't hate it. It was enjoyable.
Here's the thing. Here's how every conversation goes in this show. Oh, hey, what's up? You signed up to be a secret agent? Yeah.
It changes.
Yeah, we signed up secret agent. Oh yeah. when I was 14, an old man bought me breakfast. Oh yeah, cool. Are you married? Yeah. That's like the whole fucking first.
The first episode was absolutely horrible. It doesn't. If I had other shit to do, I would not have finished watching it. But I didn't know what else to put on. I was like, well, I really love Ron Perlman and Sarah. Like, I'm just gonna keep it going.
Now,
That was the only reason. But it was it really was enjoyable, especially their parts. The other characters in this series, their characters pretty much kind of stay the same a little bit. They grow a little bit. You kind of start feeling for them, especially towards the end. But the other characters I think what make this series.
All right. Crystal, I will watch one more episode for you, and I'll let you know what I think.
Let me find an episode because you really don't need to know what's happening. Go to the Ron Perlman or go to the Sarah Paulson.
Adam, real quick. Last month, we all kind of shit on the movie Lift, which you didn't watch, and then for some reason after the fact went, "Oh, I should watch Lift and review it." Are you gonna go watch Mr. and Mrs. Smith and review that now?
Crystal has become the voice of the common folk, and I appreciate it, Crystal. I'm here for you. I watched Lift and wanted to kill myself. Like, what is Crystal talking about? And the way Crystal presented this is the same way she presented that. She's like, well, you put it on in the background, you go make some fish on the stove, you talk to your mom on the phone.
Crystal's like, it's really good if you don't watch it. It's like,
I had someone in my comments when I reviewed that terrible Drive-Away Dolls that just came out. Horrible movie, I thought.
Oh, really?
The person in the comments goes,
damn.
Adam, I didn't think it was as bad as you did. Granted, I fell asleep twice during it, but I thought it was all right. Like, what?
It's like my whole thing is like when something is bad, it's like bad. Like I can't watch it. Like I don't want to watch it. These I can have on and somewhat enjoy while I'm doing something else. Is it good?
That's because you're not watching it. It's like, let me leave it on for my dogs to watch when I go grocery shopping. Oh,
I'm still watching it. No, I'm still watching it. I'm just doing other things too. It's one of those things where you have on the background and you're still watching. You're still paying attention.
Just put The Office on. Put on the reruns.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's what
I've seen all those so many times. I want something new. Yeah. I want something new that I haven't watched all the time.
Okay, so a dog. We have a puppy on the screen.
Oh my god.
She wants attention right now. I'm sorry. She's just hi, honey.
Oh.
That's it.
Hi, honey. This is Buffy.
Let's talk about art. The Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa, probably like one of the best, most beautiful, famous paintings of all time, right?
Where the fuck are you going with us?
Yeah, it's a beautiful, timeless work of art. Yep. But I thought maybe I could do it better. Guys, what do you think?
Tony, I gotta tell you that really doesn't look that good.
That's actually okay. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of impressed.
Are you guys saying that my painting of the Mona Lisa doesn't look as good as the original?
No,
the smile's pretty much the same.
Can I just say that was a lot better than I was actually expecting it to be?
Yeah,
it looks.
Actually, I agree. Yeah, I thought you'd do a lot worse.
The background's ass, but the Mona Lisa herself is fine.
The hair looks incredible.
So there are parts that you like, but we can agree that this is not as good as the original. You shouldn't try to imitate it or recreate it.
Right.
Okay, that's how I feel about fucking Roadhouse. It's a perfect movie. It's perfect. It's iconic. If you're wondering,
would you really redraw the Mona Lisa just for that?
Yeah, Jess, was it not as good as the original Mona Lisa? I think it's
he's got a lot of time on his hand.
Did you find that online or did you try?
No, I literally drew that.
That's incredible. Tony, your commitment to that bit is fantastic. I appreciate it.
I literally after I got back from the gym, I don't think I talk about going to the gym enough.
No,
I was making the slides and I came up with that idea and I'm just like, man, I got to get in the shower. There's only like an hour and a half before it starts. Should I really do this? And I'm like, yeah, let's go for it. I drew that picture.
Did you not shower, Tony?
No, I did.
And he brushed his teeth.
Brush your teeth.
And I brushed my teeth.
He did it.
So, Roadhouse, everyone knows, the greatest film ever made. For some reason, they don't teach it in film schools, but they should. I've talked about it many times. I did old reviews on previous things. I'm getting to it, Doug. I did old reviews of previous incarnations of Hack the Movies. I made a short film about two guys who love Roadhouse so much they become bouncers and they're bad at their job. I talked about it on Cinemassacre rental reviews, but I felt like I didn't talk about it enough, so I did it on Doug's show, Good Time, Great Movies, and I'm done reviewing Roadhouse. I can't do it anymore. But good news, there's a new Roadhouse movie out. from Amazon. It wasn't supposed to go to Amazon. It was supposed to go to the theater.
Honestly, I think that's bets that went to Amazon.
Yeah.
What was the reason? Why did it didn't go to theaters?
I don't know. I know the director was upset about it. And
Upset about making this movie, or
I'm surprised, and it's free on Amazon, which is interesting. I'm surprised that, like, they didn't.
It's an Amazon original, and I know Doug Liman was upset. And Doug Liman's made some pretty good movies. He did Mr. and Mrs. Smith. We talked about that reboot last month. The Bourne Identity, which is really, really good. Go. Okay, he did Jumper, not the best. Edge of Tomorrow was really good, though. I liked Edge of Tomorrow. He's a pretty decent director. And yeah, this movie, I watched it live with $10 patrons the other night. I wanted them to see my reaction. Look, here's the best thing I'm going to say. Roadhouse 2 is still the worst Roadhouse movie.
Yay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I will say,
fair.
as much as I was upset that they made this movie, I think we all need to be thankful they didn't do the Ronda Rousey one. They killed that one to do this one. I don't think I could have handled the Ronda Rousey, because speaking of people who can't act, they were trying to make Ronda Rousey an actress for a bit, and she wasn't good. And I watch her in wrestling, and she's not good on the mic. So I'm glad they murdered that reboot.
Wait, was she supposed to play the main character?
Yeah, she was supposed to be Dalton.
No way. No fucking way.
Yeah, she was going to be the lead of it. Now,
That's just pushing it. Like, don't. Yeah, okay, good.
now look, with remakes, you're not supposed to compare to the original. And fuck that, I'm comparing to the original. Here are my thoughts, okay?
Yeah.
Dalton, this is the only name they brought back from the original, is Dalton. Jake Gyllenhaal, he doesn't feel like the original Dalton, but he does a decent enough performance as this new character. It's fine. He's likable. He's personable. His weird shift in the third act we'll talk about, it didn't really jive with me. But for most of the movie, I'm like, okay, I think he gets it. Next up, now keep in mind, these are all new characters with new names, but they're basically characters from the original. This is the new Doctor. This girl is gorgeous.
Yeah, she is.
This woman is insanely gorgeous. The new Doctor. I want to see her and everything. She was fine. There's a new whatchamacallit, let's see, next. Oh yeah, the new Brad Wesley. They they made some changes to it. They aged him down by 100 years.
Which is weird because that picture of him looks like older than he does in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, why does
a child? He looks like a little kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks like a little kid that's trying to be an old man.
He is basically a completely different character.
Yeah.
He never feels like the big bad guy. His father is technically the bad guy, but that's a character you never see. You only hear on the phone. That's it. A horrible, horrible main bad guy for this. They dropped the ball there. Next up, they nailed this one. Dalton's friend who introduces him to the town, the casting agent, they probably looked at the original and they said, yeah, this lady will do. Nailed it.
I liked her.
Speaking of nailing the casting, you had Red West and he's replaced by Tiny Girl.
Yep.
I liked her.
Again, I was watching it. I was like, who are they going to get to play Red West? And then I saw this Tiny Girl and I went, oh, she must work for the Red West character. And then I was like, oh, she is the Red West cat. Okay, cool. And I was feeling a little let down. And I'm like, well, let's see some of the other casting in this movie. Wade Garrett is not in the film. They left Wade Garrett out. Did you guys pick up the reference to Wade Garrett?
No.
All right, so Tiny Book Girl reads a story about a Western when she's being real funny and breaking the fourth wall, and it's about a cowboy named Wade, and that's the only Wade Garrett.
Why would you do that? Why would you make reference?
Oh, that's weird.
Basically pointing out the fact that you failed to have one of the greatest characters from the original, probably the best, honestly. Listen, Patrick Swayze's fine, but he's the best character in that movie, and you make a reference to him not being in it. That seems like an insult.
But you have to have the person who owns the Roadhouse, who hires the Dalton character, and guys, that's a 1-to-1 right there. So 1-to-1.
Yep.
I did I put the same picture twice? Jessica Williams.
I couldn't stand her acting. I couldn't stand
it. Was terrible.
It was her
line delivery was awful.
I did not think Conor McGregor would be a better actor.
Okay, we're getting to that.
I don't know that he is.
But he's better than her. Like she was the one person that her acting I could not get behind at all.
I never. So Conor McGregor is the new Jimmy. Only his name is Knox. I never thought I'd live in a world where he is the best part of a movie. Holy shit.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Doug, I see your face. I see your face.
He could not act, and I loved it.
He was just a psychopath. That's all. There was no acting.
He is in his
Crystal,
own
that's
movie.
what I thought. I was like, it's not bad acting. It's just there was no acting required for the part.
No. It's just him.
He is
this is not how humans react to anything. Like, he was trying to act. That's why.
Have you seen any of his fights? He acts like this. That is him.
Doug. This is how this human acts.
Yes, he does. Yes. Watch one of his fights. Yes.
I will. I hope he goes
people in
into
the
fights like a weird stilted robot. That
He does.
He does.
He does.
Yes.
Really?
He
All
does.
Right, okay.
Okay.
You know what? I will watch those fights.
Doug,
Great.
look up
Happy
Conor
entertainment.
McGregor fight, and we'll find the one where he breaks his legs in the first 30 seconds. It's hilarious.
Okay. No. It's fine. I thought he would be fun. Like, I thought he would be fun.
I thought he was
would
fun.
be funny. And it was rough. Okay. Anyway, sorry,
I
Tony.
didn't mean to yell at you. I thought he was fun.
He was funny compared to the rest of the film. We'll go down the line. I'll get into my thoughts on this attempt to recreating perfection. Joey C, where did you land on Roadhouse?
Before I begin, Gil, do you have a boo button on your little soundboard thing?
I don't, so I've just been using the applause, and you can just imagine who's in your mind.
I can do the boo.
Yeah, we can all
I got the boo on my side. That was me.
My God, I want to cancel my fucking Amazon account for this movie. If I could speak to the very weak and unmanly Colin McGregor.
Colin McGregor?
Colin, there's so.
Connor.
What if we had a fan named Colin McGregor? That's like, oh my God.
sorry, Colin. Colin, you're very manly. Conor McGregor, very weak and unmanly. By God, you can't act. I will fight you personally. Holy Christ on a cracker. Its saving grace was the fact the acting, you guys said it perfectly. It's somehow not acting and overacting at the same time. And the script was horrible. I tried to keep an open mind here, but I couldn't. My two brain cells were fighting for third place watching this movie.
That's your new fucking quote. Every other week, Joey comes up with a new quote, and that's the new one.
I can't do it.
Gil, how did you feel about them trying to recreate the greatest film ever made?
Yeah, well, it's if it wasn't called Roadhouse, I would say it's a totally generic action thriller that's probably a little bit longer than it needs to be, but it strips away everything that made the original special. A part of it is just the over-the-top 80s cheesy action. They don't have that here. A little bit with Conor McGregor. The first movie, the Patrick Swayze character was this badass fighter, and so was Wade Garrett, but it's kind of inexplicable. It gave me similar vibes as John Wick, where there's this whole secret society of assassins, and there's legends in that world. Everybody knows the name John Wick. And in Roadhouse, there's this whole society of bouncers, where there's the legendary
Excuse me. He was a cooler. They're in charge of the bouncers.
Shoot, you're right. I'm sorry. Maybe I should just walk away.
Dare
now.
you?
The Patrick Swayze version of this character, way more mysterious and enigmatic. You find out he's an NYU PhD student, and somehow
Which
he
was
goes
in his medical file for no reason. No reason. His diploma is in his medical file.
Which I have to confess that I had never seen the original until days ago, where I watched it in preparation for this.
What?
And I didn't even know the reputation. In my mind, I thought Roadhouse was like a sort of action romance or something. Didn't know it was supposed to be ridiculous. So at the beginning
it's
of
the
it,
greatest work of art ever created.
well, that's what I'm getting to exactly.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, for the first like half hour of the movie, it does feel like a real movie where Dalton comes in and he's cleaning up this bar, and you actually see him do his job for like 20 minutes. And I was getting into it the same way you would get into like a Kitchen Nightmares reality show. It's really satisfying to watch him immediately fire people. He teaches them. People get in your face and they scream at you, you be nice. When you're dragging them out of the bar, you be nice. The only thing Jake Gyllenhaal's version taught them was if you kick a big guy in the knee, they fall down. And they do a montage where they keep kicking people in the knee. Nowhere near as satisfying. And I think with Jake Gyllenhaal's version, when you tell us that he was a UFC fighter, so you explain why he's such a good fighter, and you understand that he killed somebody in the ring, I feel like I get his character. Versus Patrick Swayze, you can never put your finger on it. Somehow he goes from point A, philosophy student, to point B, ripping people's throats out. And that was part of the fun of the movie. So you take all that away and you just get a generic thriller that if I were flipping through the channels back when you used to watch channels on TV, I might leave it on for a little bit.
Okay. Doug, where did you land on the Roadhouse remake?
I was not a fan, but I don't really have that nostalgia with the original. I saw it when I was younger. I know that there are people out there, perhaps Tony included, that really love it. I don't really fall in that camp. It's goofy, it's silly, it's dumb fun. I kind of had the same feeling with this for a while. I think you're right, Gil. Like the first half hour, I was kind of on board with this. I was okay. I mean, watching like a Post Malone CG punch people was like weirdly upsetting. Like there were so many visuals when he's hit by that car, the truck, and he goes in the back. I was like, why does this look like somebody's smearing Vaseline on my eyes when I'm watching it?
I'm gonna like really break down the CGI, but I agree.
Yeah, it was terrible. I really found Jake Gyllenhaal charming. I really did. Like I kind of enjoyed his line delivery. I enjoyed his performance. I really liked, listen, all I need is a silly character in these movies. He was part of the biker gang. He was the gay friend in Broad City.
He's the gay roommate for Broad City.
That guy's great.
When I was doing my live watch, like by the end of the second act, I'm like, this guy's the best. But besides Conor McGregor, I'm like, this is my favorite character in the film. I love this guy. He feels like a weird, quirky character, which Roadhouse had a lot of weird, quirky characters, the original. And we didn't get any of that in this except for Conor McGregor and this guy.
Yeah, I was just, but once I hit like the 45-minute mark, and I was like, oh my God, there's still over an hour left. Like I was tired by the end of this. I was not. I was barely paying attention to the final fight. Like I was so disinterested at that point. I was ready for it to end. And like I said before, I assume that people in this movie that are not singers or fighters are professional actors, but there's no evidence of that in anyone's performance outside of Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah. Crystal, how did you feel?
I didn't hate it. I do love the original. I do. It's fun. It's silly. There's romance. There's fighting. It does have almost everything you want in that type of movie. And it's not serious. I think there's an insane amount of comedy in that. Where you look at this, I feel like there was really no comedy at all. It was a straight action. You took an idea of the original Roadhouse and then you placed it into this. It's a completely different movie to me. It's just straight modern action. Bad CGI fighting, a lot of really bad ADR during the last fight. Oh my gosh, I couldn't stand. What was that? Oh, I think this piano's out of tune or something like that.
I hated that.
I was like,
they realized they didn't do one of the quotes, so they had to ADR it at a real awkward.
It was so bad.
Nice. What? Who just said that?
Yeah, that's what it felt like. A lot of the stunt doubles, it was clearly stunt doubles. You can definitely see that. I agree with it feeling too long. I actually fell asleep with 20 minutes left. I swear to God. I had no idea I was even at a 20-minute mark. And then next day, my boyfriend's like, hey, you got 20 minutes left to Roadhouse. And I was like, thanks. So I finished watching it today. I didn't hate it. I thought it was just I think Jake Gyllenhaal actually did great. I don't mind the other new characters, but it just felt like a completely different movie. It's just an action movie. That's it. Jake Gyllenhaal looks great though. Oh my God. The videos of him working out, that is intense. The work he put into this movie, he needs some cred on that.
And I mean, I relate to that as someone who's been in the gym since January.
I know.
It's nice seeing myself.
I gotta go. I gotta go right now.
What, Doug? He was like literally me. I'm like, wow, I also hit the gym every day, and I look just like.
I told you, Tony, before we recorded, I want those shirtless pics. They don't even need to be on Instagram. Send them
Look,
privately.
there's this site that only some fans can go to get those. But yeah, not since Ryan Reynolds and Barbie did I see myself on screen.
Time out. Ryan Reynolds in Barbie?
No, not Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
Ryan
he totally
Gosling.
fucked that up.
Ryan Gosling on screen. He got seasick and I get seasick, so Ken was basically me. Jess, what did you think of Roadhouse, the remake?
So you're gonna hate me. I have still not seen the original.
Oh God, that tunnel. Why is she calling from her cell phone? I don't understand. Anyway, Oh, Jess, you're back.
Yeah, the tunnel.
Cell service in your area is really bad. What were you saying?
Okay. So I watched this yesterday. And I have the mind of a child where if anything moves on screen, I am entertained. This movie entertained me. Was it good? No. Was I entertained?
Well, literally every
Yes.
movie can entertain you.
Yeah.
Except for like Alien vs. Predator Requiem because it's all shot in the dark. But other than that, any movie that just has images on screen moving will entertain you.
Yeah. The only thing that's failed to do that is Transformers 4, but we're not getting into that. But
I'm glad I had you edit my movie review show. Anyway, keep going, Jeff.
I have opinions. Oh, no,
Okay.
actually, no. The only thing that didn't entertain me was the Mario. Anyway, the one thing that I got out of this movie, for some odd reason, was Conor McGregor's ass, and I'm not happy about that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Can we talk about asses for a second?
I enjoyed all that.
Yeah, can we
I
do,
didn't
like,
mind it, but I was
asses-
just like, that's
asses
the
in
thing I got
the
out of it.
original versus asses in the
Yeah,
remake.
okay.
Yeah,
of my-
let's please
all right,
do
all
that.
right. This movie does hit certain beats from the original. And they have the one where the Carrie Ann character, which again looks just like her, perfect casting, where she goes to Dalton's place. And before it was in the barn, this movie, it's a houseboat. She goes there and she's like talking to him, and Dalton gets out of his bed and they do a close-up of him wearing boxers. And I was like, no, fuck you. Patrick Swayze got out and he was ass out. And they have that scene where Carrie Ann just has an orgasm looking at his ass. I'm like, why did Jake Gyllenhaal think he was too good for ass, showing his ass on camera? I was very upset by that.
Conor McGregor was fine with it.
So Conor McGregor shows his ass, but
He's
they introduce him. He clearly just had sex with a lady. And I'm sorry, if you watch the original Roadhouse, you know Jimmy wasn't having sex with no ladies. He actually brings it up during his final fight. His last words are about how he has sex with men, and then his throat gets ripped out. But yeah, Conor McGregor is the only one who shows his ass. Also, speaking of which, the 80s Roadhouse, boobs everywhere. You couldn't go a few minutes without seeing boobs in that movie.
Oh my God. It was just like the $20 scene with the fucking
that was-
groping. Oh my
That's a
God.
great scene. In this one, you get what's her face? Hold on, in a bathing suit, and that's it.
Yeah,
She's very.
That's it. That's literally it.
Is this a thing now on the internet? I'm an old man, so I have to hear these things. And you're all young, millennials or something. Is it true that younger people don't like sex scenes in movies nowadays? I hear that from people. Is that a thing?
Oh, who the fuck's saying that?
Yeah, who's saying
I don't
that?
know.
Joey C to get us angry about.
Yeah,
Like,
old people like me are like, oh, millennials nowadays don't want to see sex in movies or celibate
the only
weirdos.
people I think will get upset with that are incels who know they're not going to get any.
All right. Okay.
You know what? That might be changing. I think just Hollywood, the big blockbuster films were just so sexless for a bit because they were all like Marvel PG-13 stuff.
Okay.
But now people are getting tired of those films. They're like, all right, let's watch this film. Let's watch Saltburn, where a guy has sex with dirt for 10 minutes.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, the fact that the movie had like almost no sex appeal whatsoever, other than shirtless Jake Gyllenhaal, but he wouldn't show his ass. I was upset. Now we got to talk about the one thing Roadhouse is really, really known for is its awesome bare knuckle fist fighting. The big criticism of this film, and I share too, are the fight scenes. Now, what they did, these are techniques that have been used before, and I've seen them used before. So there's a lot of the camera, clearly it's different takes, and they digitally transition from one take to another without cutting. I've seen that in films. The first time I saw that was Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Because there's a lot of like, it would be Michael Cera, then his stuntman, but they didn't want to cut away. So they did like this digital kind of fade and whatnot. And it kind of worked for Scott Pilgrim.
It works there.
It worked. I've seen in like superhero films. It's fine. When you're remaking like a film that is known for its like in-camera fist fighting, you can't rely on that too much. And they go overboard with it. And also, how they did the impacts. I get in like most movies, you have to fake the punching. You can't actually connect. So there is this technique that other people have used where it's like, it's the actor punching a pillow, like a green pillow. And then the other actor is reacting to it. And then they composite it, connect it. So it feels like the actor got punched. And that's fine in like small doses if they're cutting between different camera angles. They linger on, they do the digital transitions way too much, and they do that green screen effect way too much. And I'll be honest with you guys, I actually didn't hate the first 2 acts of this movie, and I thought I was going to. I thought I was going to despise every frame of it. But I was like, okay, I'm actually seeing where they're going. I wish they did this better. I wish they did that from the original. I didn't mind that change. And then it would get to a fight scene, and if you go back and watch that video, I'm literally going, like I hated looking at every fight scene in this. And that was like what you needed to sell this movie. So that really upset me. The fight scenes are awful. And again, this is fucking Doug Liman, who did like the first like Jason Bourne movie, which I know people criticize the shaky cam. I didn't mind it. He's done like awesome action movie stuff before. So the fact that he is now doing this, and there were some parts where the digital compositing, when it was just like when he headbutt him once or when he threw one punch, looked fine. So then you have that. And then you also have, Doug, you were talking about the CGI truck on the bridge that looked terrible.
Oh, yeah, that was awful.
And then all the boat stuff at the end where the bad guy flies like 100 feet into the air and then he just gets back up. I'm like, what is this? It lost me in the third act. Also, so Dalton turning into a killer by the end of Act 3 in the original, it made sense to me. It was something he had killed in the past. He was hooking up with a married woman, didn't know she was married. The husband tried to kill him. He killed the guy in self-defense. And he's very conflicted about it. And he's been, the more the town, like the evil guys of the town are pushing him, he's like, oh, is it going to bring me back to that place where I'm going to kill again? And then the third act, they kill his friends. He kills Jim and he's like, I'm done. The gloves are off. I'm going in there and I'm killing everyone. This Dalton, it's weird. He starts acting like a serial killer, the way he's staging like the murders and stuff. I'm like, okay, Dalton was like a killer. This Dalton is a murderer. And I'm like, that feels really, I don't agree with that at all. Even though Jake Gyllenhaal was charming during it, it was just too much of a shift that I did not like.
I also didn't mind it.
Well, you've never seen the original. You've never seen Perfection, Jack.
That's what I'm saying. This is just from my point of view.
But there's one moment early on where I thought I was really going to like it. It's when he beats up the motorcycle gang.
That was the best.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, hey, call an ambulance. These guys are injured. And the girl's like, nah, I'm not calling the ambulance for him. So he drives them to the hospital. I'm like,
Speed bump.
I'm like, all right, that's kind of funny. That's kind of funny. Where the film also fails is working in references from the original. So the Roadhouse in this one is called the Roadhouse.
What was that? Where they're just like, who's on first dialogue about the name of this place? I was like, this is tired and unfunny.
And the original, it was the Double Deuce. Did you guys catch the Double Deuce reference in this?
No, because
somebody took 2 shits.
No, next to the bookstore, that beer distributor was called the Double Deuce beer distributor. That's the only reference to Double
It
Deuce.
was. Holy shit.
So So that was weird. The Wade Garrett thing was weird. The book girl talking about how like, hey, this feels like a Western. I'm like, I get it. The original Roadhouse was a modern Western, but it wasn't like pointing that out. It was just, the thing is like the original Roadhouse, they were making it like sincerely. It was ridiculous, but they did it because they thought it was cool. It was just over the top. I don't think they realized it was over the top. And over time, viewing it like as the years go by, it becomes more and more ridiculous, which makes the movie even better. But yeah, in this one, they're just pointing out all the tropes, and it's like, you don't need to do that. What was the one line? Yeah, like I said, he says be nice randomly. Oh, so he kicks all those guys' ass, and he has to get stitched up by the doctor. And in this one, she's like, did you win the fight? And it's like, yeah, he won. You know who he is. He kicked all those guys' ass. In the original, the doctor had no idea who she was. That's why she asked the whole, did you win in a fight? They had to like shoehorn this stuff in, which I felt was just, it bothered me. It bothered me a lot. But again, Conor McGregor is a cartoon character. And Doug, I know it didn't work for you, but I'm just like, every time he was on screen, I'm like, this is like, he does talk a little too much. Eventually they give him too much dialogue. And I'm like, no, stop. I like the scene where he does the Vince McMahon walk, which he's known for.
Yeah.
He goes to the house after everyone has left. He's like, well, fuck everyone go. I thought that was fucking hilarious. He's in his own movie. It's like he literally came in from a different movie into this movie.
Yes.
But then it gets ruined in that final fight when it's all digital cameras swooping, swirling. Like you said, that the piano line is like, this piano's out of tune. I'm like, why are we forcing in like Marvel quips into this movie? It doesn't make any sense.
So out of place. I actually had to go back and I was like, did I just hear that?
Yeah.
Am I hearing things? So bad.
That was the one line in that movie that I was just like, huh. There was no need for that.
I appreciate that the movie realized that their main bad guy was lame. And they were like, all right, let's just dispose of this guy because clearly Connor is the big draw. So like that was a change I didn't mind.
I did like the scene of him on the boat where he's getting shaved, and the whole time I'm like, well, he's just a dumbass. And then he goes
so
up and
uncomfortable
punches.
to watch.
Yeah. Then he goes up and punches the
captain.
The captain.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you think he's going to do anything about the fucking waves?
You know what? Conor McGregor feels more like Brad Wesley and Jimmy combined from the original. Because Brad Wesley, the original, he's just driving on the road, just being an asshole, causing accidents. He puts his helicopter over the horse farm to freak out the horse. He is just a rude douchebag. And Jimmy was the muscle, and they combined him here. So the fact that they had a different Brad Wesley character, I'm like, nah, get rid of that guy. We don't need that guy.
I will say, I think Crystal watched this movie correctly. I would say if people haven't seen this movie, turn it off with about 20, 25, a half hour left, and you're good. You're fine. You got it.
Another fun element to the original I liked is that the Double Deuce starts off like a shithole. And as the movie goes along, it ends up looking nicer and nicer. Toward the end, it looks like an Applebee's or something. And in this one, the bar looks really nice when he goes there initially. Yeah. And it just stays the same the whole time. Like, oh.
That was something too. Like, he's not firing tons of people, or like in the original, he was firing bartenders that were doing things. And this, he just comes in and just takes care of shit people. There's no management.
No. I also
understand. Like you need the bar.
Huh?
I was just saying, if like in the first movie, the bar becomes incidental over time. It turns into Dalton versus the evil rich guy.
Yeah.
But in this movie, it really feels like they just needed an excuse to get him to that town. They spend so little time on the bar. And like you said, in the original, they do such a good job of making it look like a hellhole. Like it looks like something out of Mad Max.
There's a shirtless guy just dancing in the crowd. It was awesome.
Yeah. The way I see it is, in the original, the bar is its own character. Like the bar is a personality, and this one is just a place. And they don't even spend that much time in there, I feel like.
Like at the end when they run into it.
Oh yeah, let's drive right into it.
I
Or
also
like at the end
understand-
when people walked in and I'm sorry, but like when
No, no,
people
go
walked,
ahead.
are you guys still open? That was like
So lame.
you just waited. Just what the fuck? Really?
Are
Really?
you really that in desperate need of a drink that you don't see the
I
fucking
mean,
truck? And
I
it's just like, well,
I understand that
that's just
desperate
inconvenient.
in general, but I understand being that desperate for a drink. Yes, but this
they
is
had
also
to,
like.
I feel like there were a
aren't you
couple
guys-
of moments at the
They had
end
to
that were meant
scoot
to be like.
around the. They had to
Sorry,
scoot
finish, Gil.
around the truck.
It felt like there were a couple moments at the end that were meant to be like the stamp on the end of the movie, but they just don't feel like they connect with the rest of it. Like I wasn't watching thinking the bar never really looked empty. Where like thank God they finally have customers, and even though there's a truck driven through it, they're willing to come in and have a drink. The same thing with leaving all the money for the bookstore guy. They set it up where he has to work 2 jobs so he can run the bookstore. But it felt like they were telling us the whole movie, this store is going to shut down. They really need money. And he left all the money for him at the end. But that's not what happened. You almost forget that guy's in the movie because you barely see him.
Yeah.
I forgot that he took the money. I was like, wait,
right,
he
he stole
took
the
money?
money.
I'm confused.
I get why Dalton I get his backstory in the original, but this one, it's like he's a UFC fighter and he killed a guy, but it wasn't just a guy, it was a friend of his. And I'm like, why did he do that? He's like, because when I'm angry, I can't control myself. I'm like, that's why. What? I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, that's a weak backstory. What the hell was that?
That is a true thing though, isn't it? Where a lot of times you get into the moment and you kind of, what was it? You just kind of like black out.
Yeah, I
you just
get it.
go into it and you actually really do hurt people. And even in like WWE, that happens a lot too.
But I
where
feel
you
like
get so into it, actually hurt someone by
I
accident.
feel like he wouldn't become a bouncer after that. I'm like, well, then you're really going to kill someone because there's no ref or anything there.
I think he clearly needed money though. I think that was a very obvious thing that he needed money.
I do like, oh yeah, the film doesn't even start with a fight. It starts with him scaring Post Malone away.
Oh God! When I saw it, like they just zoom in and he's like, you see his nipples, and I went, ugh.
Yep.
I did enjoy that opening because I didn't know at that point in the movie, you don't know that he's a famous fighter, and that's why Post Malone's afraid. I was like, yeah, if I'm Post Malone and I see this guy take his shirt off, I'm not fighting him either. 'Cause I'm about to get destroyed.
I will say the beginning was very unbelievable in the fact that Post Malone was winning a fight.
But yeah, Roadhouse. Guys, I thought I was gonna hate it more than I did. Maybe it's just because I've seen so many bad things lately, and we watched that Nightmare on Elm Street remake. I watched that for the first time, and
that'll do it.
Kaylee made me watch that terrible Dumb and Dumber sequel, and I feel like by the time it got to this, I'm like, I don't have enough energy to hate it as much as I probably should.
Tony, you went in hating this so hard.
Yeah.
I don't know if a movie could ever be as bad as you were thinking it was going to be.
Well, don't worry.
You were thinking straight dumpster fire whole time. You didn't even watch the fucking trailer, Tony.
I didn't watch the trailer. I did the same thing for the RoboCop remake. I didn't watch the trailer and I went in blind. That was a movie I did not like. I could not find any redeeming thing in that film. But yeah, I guess in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, it's not the worst thing ever. I've seen the worst thing ever, and that's Roadhouse 2. Roadhouse 2 is really bad. And you know how I said this new one has digital transitions from like the actor to the stuntman? In Roadhouse 2, Will Patton has a fight scene, and every time they cut to the wide shot, they make sure to put the stuntman's head in shadow. But you can tell he's got a completely different build than Will Patton. And the whole time you're watching, you're like, that's not Will Patton. I'm sorry. That's very obviously a stuntman. He's got a whole different body type.
That happened a couple times though in this one. Where there was a couple times where I think it was like some of the motorcycle crew or something like that. Like you would go and like clearly a different body shape. You're like, oh shit. There's a few times in this.
Speaking of the motorcycle crew, I almost forgot the scene with the crocodile.
Oh, I was going to say crocodile. Okay. This movie never gets as ridiculous as the original.
Yeah.
Like the original has like guys with knives coming out of their boots. It has henchmen driving monster trucks around and driving monster trucks through buildings. So it never got like too crazy, but I like that they kept mentioning this alligator. And I joked in the video, I'm like, oh, is that Chekhov's alligator? And sure enough, that gator came back. I'm like, hey, good. I'm glad they did that. I would have been real upset if they promised an alligator and we never saw it.
You should have included that in the comparison slideshow. You had the stuffed polar bear alligator.
Yeah. And no asses in this slideshow either. I'm pretty disappointed.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's funny. The original Roadhouse title in the first film was over a girl's like really nice ass, and in this one, it's over Jake Gyllenhaal walking into a building. I'm like, nah, you guys don't get it. That's all I have to say about Roadhouse 2. Did you guys have anything else to say?
No, I think we talked it to death. Oh, you know what? I have one more thing to say.
Okay.
I understand in the original why people are fighting. Like, that's garbage town. Why is everybody so angry? You're living in paradise in this movie. Like, everybody's fighting all the time.
They
I don't
have
get it.
to build a resort, and the Roadhouse is stopping it.
I hate
and
it.
she
Yeah,
needs the
that's
Roadhouse
ridiculous.
because her uncle built it. I'm like, all right, well, how about you just open up a new location with the same name? Like,
It almost gave me like a Bahamas vibe. Like all the locals like hate being like, it's just like poverty and everything. And this is the one thing that they have to hold on to.
It's not the Bahamas, it's the Florida Keys.
I know, but I'm comparing it to the fucking Bahamas. Like I just said, Tony.
I've been through all the Florida Keys because when I went there for my friend's wedding, we screwed
Ronda
up.
Rousey? Oh.
I screwed up the flights and I didn't realize it'd be easier to drive in like from Tampa. So we flew into the very like last Florida Key and we had to drive through every single goddamn key ever. So I've seen all the Florida Keys. It was great.
Oh no, poor Tony driving through the Florida Keys.
Let's
That sounds
dig
so
into
horrible.
Florida geography a little more, you guys.
Did it make you angry, Tony? Like you wanted to pick a fight at a bar? Might that explain?
That Florida Keys trip was the start of a lot of things. COVID lockdown, one, and a lot of other bad things for Tony. But it gave birth to this podcast, so in a way it worked.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk to a couple of our patrons. Space Cadet is up next. Amazon Prime Space Cadet, or whatever poster I got this from, which is a different language. Uma astronauta quasi parafiata. What does that mean? What language is that?
I don't know, man. I don't really know. I'm not a scientist here, man.
So I wanted to put a streaming movie on, and I was like, "What's new?" And I looked at this, and I went, "Yeah, I'll look at Emma Roberts for 2 hours. Why not? Emma Roberts is fine. She's cute. I'm sure it'll be fine."
Oh, yeah.
It's basically Legally Blonde, but
you read my notes, Tony.
What?
This is the same note I had. I had Legally Blonde in space.
By the way, I said that to myself as I was watching it, and I Googled it. Everyone is saying that. And then I assume they're all saying, but this one sucks. This is one of the worst films I've seen all year. And I was like, and by the way, the bar was really, really low for this one. I'm like, direct to Amazon, Legally Blonde ripoff with astronauts. It'll be fine. This was a disaster. So just the story here. Emma Roberts, who cares what her character's name is? She's really smart, but 10 years ago, she was sad that her mom died. So instead of being smart in college, she decided to be a party girl, and now she wrestles alligators and helps her dad be a con man. But she still yearns to be smart. I mean, she is smart. She helps manatees or whatever, but she wants to be smart in a different way. And then she applies to be a space cadet for NASA. And then her dumb friend, whose character trait is that she's dumb and is pregnant, lies about her letter to NASA and says that she's a doctor and she has all these qualifications. And she then has to become an astronaut and hang out with other cadets who worked really hard to be there. Meanwhile, she's totally underqualified. Or is she underqualified? Because the movie keeps telling you that she's perfect and great. Logan, what did you think of Space Cadet? Did you get a chance to watch this?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
What did you think?
It's classic girl movie formula. You got the dumb best friend, just like failure to launch. You got Zoe Deschanel, who's like a dumb drunk, and then you got the knocked up best friend that's dumb. And you got the heartthrob, which his name is Logan for some reason. He doesn't want to say his damn name because he's got a British accent, and apparently British people don't say Logan. It was like Lowen or something like that. He kept not pronouncing the G every single time he said his name. I was like, what? But yeah, I mean, this movie, and it's a lot of it's very similar to like other Emma Roberts movies that she's put out, like what is it, the Holiday Date or whatever, that was a Netflix movie, I believe.
You know what I'm realizing now? I don't think I watch enough of her. I thought I liked Emma Roberts. But between this and Madam Web, I might have to start avoiding her movies. I don't know. But anyway, continue.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Like, this is one of those movies, like you said the joke about Legally Blonde. Yeah, it's like it's like you can say this is like the fourth Legally Blonde movie because there's been 3. I didn't know that until I looked it up. But I mean, it's got that like House Bunny vibes, that same kind of movie, and I just don't feel like those movies just don't do well anymore. Mm-hmm. To be honest, this movie would have been like a probably instant classic if it came out in the 80s. Like it would have been like, I mean, think about like Teen Witch, not really good movie, but people love that movie and they always like to joke around about the dancing scene. This would have been something like that, like Space Camp or something like that. You know what I mean? It's the fact that it just comes out in an era where like this has it's ran its course. My wife would have loved it. I'll tell you that for sure. Becca, I actually sent her a message while I was watching. I was like, I found the next movie you're going to want to watch. I was like, she likes her, and she likes. There is a market for this. Like I bet Casey likes this movie.
You know, it's funny. Casey said she wanted to see it because she loves Legally Blonde. I was like, don't watch it.
Yeah,
don't
Casey would love
it. Did you love it, Joey C?
You know, Tony, throughout this wonderful movie, with my 100 Hot Pockets in front of me, I thought to myself, this.
How are you thinner than me, you dumb asshole? God, by the way, can we just say, no, put your arm down, Can we take a moment to say, everyone on Twitter, go follow Did Joey C have fruit today?
Come on.
And the Grimace account. And my favorite one is Joey C's dad's lawnmower. Follow all those accounts. Anyway,
give them attention.
So what did you say? You were stuffing your face with Hot Pockets.
Yeah, and I thought, this has to get better, right? But it just kept getting worse and worse. And listen, I'm going to go into some spoilers here. I know it.
Oh, how dare you?
About that. Yeah, I'm just going to say, this movie is so fucking unrealistic, okay? Now, listen, I'm not a lawyer, okay? But she has one count of reckless endangerment, right? She flew that plane that she wasn't even fucking trained for, right? She committed fraud, and then her friend committed multiple instances of fraud. And there's no chance Rex would be allowed in space. She'd be sent to jail.
Yeah.
This movie is a fucking sham.
But she saves the day with a bedazzler.
God, I hate this movie, Tony. I hate this fucking movie. I'm going to practice law just because of this movie.
You hated it, but I'm sure Mike loved it, right?
Oh, I absolutely love this movie. It was the best movie I've seen all year.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Did you actually watch it?
I watched it last night.
Oh, and you really liked it.
Night for you guys. It was dumb. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be based off the poster.
By the way, so I like to make fun of those anti-woke grifters who complain about feminism and whatnot. Guys, you missed one. This is the movie you guys are always complaining about because she's not allowed to have any flaws. Her flaws are that she's too smart and isn't being smart the right way. And then NASA's like, she's not qualified. And this lady's like, but she helped manatees. That's what Mars needs. I'm like, what? I can't think of anything Mars needs less than manatee safety. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And when it comes to science, it's just like shit that you would see in the old Facebook group. I fucking love science. Like, it's not real science. Like, she's pulling out the Stardust thing. And we're all made of Stardust. Like, oh my God, this feels like a movie that would have been made like 13 years ago.
It probably was developed.
They wrote the script 13 years ago.
Yeah, probably.
But it's a funny premise. Someone who lies to get into NASA and now has to fake it until they make it. It works, but the problem is that she's also a really smart scientist. I'm like, well, then that's not funny because now she's smart, but just kind of an asshole. Like, Biodome is funny because they were idiots and they didn't know what they were doing. This is not very funny. But I will say, what's his face from Kids of the Hall was in it. That's not the sign of quality, but he was in it. He was in it.
It's something, I guess.
Yeah. I hated this movie. You would think
too.
Madam West would be the Madam West. I said I mixed Madam Web with Adam West. I merged the two. Someone make Adam West into Madam Web now. You would think Madam Web would be the worst movie she had this year, but she one-upped herself. Just a miserable time, but I'm sure the only female on the panel right now who watched it has something to say, and she's not there.
Earth to Johanna. You're going to space, even though you committed multiple instances of fraud and reckless endangerment.
Let me text her and say we ready. She was just there a second ago.
I hate this movie so much.
It was so bad.
You know how you made me watch that Woody Woodpecker thing? This is way worse.
This was way worse than Woody Woodpecker. Worse. Actually, no, Woody Woodpecker was really rough to get through.
See, my worst is Power Rangers.
I mean, Emma Roberts is cute. None of the other girls were, but Emma Roberts is cute. I was digging that, but I mean, not enough I'll never watch the movie again.
It had to be like almost 2 hours, too.
It felt long.
Felt like that, yeah.
It was not a long movie. It felt very, very long. And it should not have felt that long. By the way, Joey, I just saw the fucking text you sent me earlier going, cutting it real close there, buddy.
Yeah, because it was fucking 7:58 and you weren't there.
Asshole.
I'm sitting here fucking baking in this Grimace outfit.
Who told you to put the Grimace outfit on? Johanna said that she'll be right here. I got to get her opinions on Space Cadet. Yeah. As a proud woman, I know that she watched this movie
and loved it.
Well, the funny thing is, I looked up the director, and she actually was executive producer on The Sinner, which that's like a really good show. At least the first season's like amazing. But
okay, I didn't see it. I saw that she directed that Lifeguard movie where Kristen Bell is naked. I've only seen a couple scenes of that movie. But yeah, nothing else in her catalog really grabbed me. The Space Cadet was the first chance I gave her, and I'm not looking forward to giving her many more chances. It's back! Everyone's favorite show, The Rings of Power, Lord of the Rings Season 2, baby! Most expensive show of all time, baby! Oh, man. Crystal and Gil, you guys don't look thrilled. Did you not watch the biggest show of all time?
No.
No, you gave me Agatha and you gave me Lord of the Rings. You can't get both of those.
Joey C., what did you think? I mean, obviously you loved Rings of Power Season 1. Who's your favorite character? Mine's Disa. Where are my Dees freaks at?
Yeah, fuck it's right here, baby.
The funny thing is, she actually is one of the better characters in the show, and that was the one all the right-wing grifters were complaining about the most. I'm like, no, she actually has a personality.
Yeah, I know.
Did you watch Season 1, or did you just skip to Season 2? I know how you love to skip things, Joey.
Yeah, fucking skipped right to Season 2, baby.
Which spoils the big reveal from Season 1. Okay.
Yep. I watched the YouTube recap. We were good.
So I watched... sorry.
No, you go.
So I watched the first 2 episodes of this season. I was real lukewarm on Rings of Power Season 1. I was like, yeah, I get it. All right. I guess that's kind of interesting. They're explaining these mysteries that were never fleshed out in the book. But at the end of the day, I was like, I actually just don't care about any of this. The one big mystery in Season 1 was which of these characters is Sauron. And we learned that it is some dude that Galadriel finds. I was actually intrigued with the beginning of this season, because they show Sauron played by a completely different actor. The orcs all turn on him because he's trying to replace Morgoth. And we see him rebuild himself, which I thought was like a real cool moment. It reminded me of like Hellraiser, Frank trying to rebuild himself. But the effect they landed on was the Molded from Resident Evil 7. I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, no, that's literally, they must have played Resident Evil 7. That's literally that character. So basically this season, now that he's reborn, this season I'm kind of more on board for, which is kind of weird because of how like lackluster the first season is, because it's all about Sauron manipulating everyone to use the ring so he can control them. And I'm like, all right, if there was anything in the Lord of the Rings past that I would want to see, it would be that. And the first season, they kind of danced around it. He was like doing a long con, but now he's like in it. He's like, okay, I got to go back and get the guy to make more rings. I got to plant ideas in this person's head. I got Galadriel corrupt with power. So yeah, there's just, there's more at stake, I guess, for this season. But I'm only 2 episodes in. Apparently it gets bad. I don't know yet. But what I'm really watching for is the first live action appearance of Tom Bombadil, everyone's favorite Lord of the Rings character, who has never been in any of the adaptations, as far as I could tell. I don't even know if he's in the animated ones. But yeah, I'm a Tom Bombadil bro. Where my Tom Bombadil bros at? I'm gonna keep watching until Tom Bombadil. If I'm left out by Tom Bombadil, I'm quitting the show. Joey, are you so happy that Tom Bombadil is finally in the Lord of the Rings cinematic universe?
Oh, I couldn't be more happy, man. Could not be more happy. We got to celebrate now.
Gil, is this enough to get you to start watching Rings of Power, finally seeing Tom Bombadil?
I'll wait for you to report back once you see him.
Crystal.
Yeah.
Who do you think Tom Bombadil is?
Tony, I haven't been listening to you since you put the slide up.
Tony, can you say Tom Bombadil a few more times?
You know what? I can look up the song that he sings in the book if you want. Tom Bombadil song. Please. I will say they released the guy did the Tom Bombadil song and they released the track, but it's way too slow and somber. Like you need to sing that song like you're a fucking asshole who's screaming. So yeah, that's all I got. I'll report back, guys. So far, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power season 2. It's intriguing me, but who knows how long it'll keep my interest. I actually forgot a lot about season 1. I forgot most of the characters. But yeah, I will let you know if Tom Bombadil is a win or not. Because we all love old Tom Bombadil, right?
Thank you so much for doing society such a big favor. You are our national hero, Tony.
I'm happy Bombadil, Tom Bombadillo, by water, wood, and hill, by reed and willow, by fire, sun, and moon. Hearken now and hear us. Come, Tom Bombadil, for our need is near us.
Wow, that was beautiful, man. That was
just
so
for the
beautiful.
people stumbling on the clipped out version of this video that don't know who you are, and the algorithm for some reason put it on their home screen. Yeah. Just to those people, I'm speaking to you. Just don't associate me with this. I don't know how I ended up
here. I probably should explain.
Yeah. And check out Tony's other stuff. This is not his.
Yeah, you know what? To find out who Tom Bombadil is, Tom Bombadillo, go back and watch our Fellowship of the Ring review. We go into great detail on there.
Gil, this is Tony's finest work. What are you talking about? It doesn't get better than this. If they've seen the show, if they will see the show, it doesn't get any better.
It's true.
All right, we have 3 left. Let's just do a mid, super chat. Get your super chats in, everyone. Jesus. Red 1, 'tis the season. Red 1. Now, Gil, you said you don't experience Christmas and you want to experience Christmas. I'm sure you ran right away to the theater to watch Red 1, right?
More like Red None, because it was none. I didn't see it.
Wait, sorry. Just a little bit of an update. Remember, I'm assuming that's a callback to Godzilla Minus Fun.
Yeah, I've been watching Adam's channel lately, so he's rubbing off on me. Okay.
Did you see some Godzilla podcast did a 3-hour live stream complaining about Adam from last year?
No,
I have to watch that.
I just left a comment and saying Adam rules. I didn't watch it. Like, yeah, you meat ride him. I'm like, is that a term? I heard dick riding. So I might on the Godzilla Rumble channel. I might watch that guy's live stream.
I was like, it's funny because I knew you're looking at the camera, but I knew you were looking at me when you said that.
Yeah. Yeah. I still blame you now. Yeah. So you didn't see it, but Joey, you saw it, right?
Boy, did I.
Good. I'm gonna have to ask you a little bit of what happened in the movie because I started dozing off in the middle. This was a rough one to get through. It starts off really bad.
Yeah, so I found it really similar to like the one of the scenes in the Santa Claus when Santa gets kidnapped, and then they have like those little elf kids, the kids go out and fucking like try to get Santa Claus from the police station.
Dude, is. Sorry, no, continue. Sorry,
I was just gonna say like that's all you gotta fucking know, dude. Jacked and Santa Claus is jacked, but Santa Claus he's out of the mission, man, and you're gonna get the guy.
Sorry,
Wait, what the fuck is that?
That isn't even from when I saw it. That's yesterday. We took the twins to Moana too, and I was like, my sister, I'm like, you need a picture of me with the red one sled. By the way,
what the fuck?
By the way, this display wasn't here when the movie came out.
Why
I don't know
is
if
that
I
so
missed it
big?
and they moved it.
Well, and it's like covering another movie back there. They just didn't know where to put this.
The Zoe Kravitz movie. Yeah, no, so the story, I guess, like you said, it is a lot like the Santa Claus. There's not like an ounce of originality in this. It's
Not at all,
borrowed
dude.
From everything I've seen in this film is from something else. Mostly the Santa Claus. So Santa, he gives presents. Chris Evans is an asshole. He's Ant-Man. Chris Evans is Ant-Man.
Yep.
And he's not the only Ant-Man in the movie, by the way, where he has a wife. He had a girlfriend and a kid. But he's estranged because he's always doing shady stuff. And sometimes he has a thick Brooklyn accent and sometimes he doesn't.
Yeah.
He's a level 4 naughty lister. Santa is played by J.K. Simmons and he's jacked.
Yep.
And The Rock is his bodyguard. He works for the ELF.
Oh, extremely large and formidable. That was the only thing that fucking made me laugh in the fucking movie. Dude.
I forget what the real acronym meant, though. It was like something stupid. There's like a government agency that deals with like mythical creatures, I guess.
Like Men in Black type shit, basically.
Yeah, it's not exactly. Again, it's like Men in Black and shit. It's not just Christmas shit because when Santa goes missing, someone kidnaps him. They question the headless horseman. They're like, oh, we had to like ask all the usual suspects. And it's like, Lucy Liu, what are you doing here? Why are you doing this?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, so they're on a mission. He's got to team up with Chris Evans because Chris Evans was involved in the plot to kidnap Santa, but not directly, I think. And they got to get help from Krampus, who I thought was, what's his face from Stranger Things, but I think I only thought that because I finally watched that 2019 Hellboy movie, which was terrible. But it was someone else. He's that big red-bearded guy from Game of Thrones, I think.
Okay.
Joey, I need you to help me because I was dozing off before they went to Krampus Land. Where did Krampus come from? How is he related to this? Is he like, did they say he was Santa's brother?
That's it. I'm so glad that you mentioned that because
Okay.
I literally was like, so he's his brother who, like, I don't know how he ended up, got infected by whatever evil it was to become Krampus or whatever. Yeah. And he went his way and then they have to get his help to get him back. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. So
everything you're saying sounds cool. Like they're going to interrogate the headless horseman, and then Krampus is Santa's brother. So like,
he does look
the movie
sick in this movie, though.
What's it doing wrong? Is it just like trying to be funny and it's not?
Actually, the Krampus stuff looked cool if it was in a different movie. Like all the monster effects were cool, but
I thought they were fucking sick.
It's just
dude.
Like I said, it's very derivative of a lot of things. Yeah, it's like they threw a lot of cool things into a blender, but it doesn't really, for me, it just didn't have an identity of its own. When I said there's two Ant-Mans, The Rock, his special bracelet makes him shrink. So you have Chris Evans' Ant-Man's personality, and then The Rock has Ant-Man's powers.
Yep.
So they split Ant-Man in half. The North Pole is Asgard. Complete.
Literally.
With
1,000%.
Hold on. I think it's, hold on. You can see it in the background. Complete with a triangular building with a giant bridge where the finale takes place. And if this, honestly, I want to look up the visual effects people. I'm like, did they just get the Asgard team and just palette swap stuff. Like it just looked so.
Just take
like,
all those existing assets.
Yeah, it really feels
They
like
put
that.
everything into a blender, and out came this fucking movie.
It really is. I'm like, oh, okay. And then there's like an evil witch, who I guess is Hela from Thor. No, I will say.
Okay, yeah, that makes.
We've
sense,
talked
yeah.
about this lady a lot. She was in Totally Killer, and she was in Long Legs and Twister. She was in 5 seconds of Twisters. I usually don't have an opinion on this lady, but her in the witch form was looking hot as hell. And then they turn her into a big ogre lady and ruin it. Yeah, she's the bad guy, and she wants to put everyone in globes. All the naughty people have to go into globes.
Yep. Which is kind of kinky.
Yeah, because the naughty people don't get punished anymore because Krampus was told not to punish them. And I guess this lady went away, and she's got evil snowmen.
Okay.
That
Minions.
attack. What was her deal? Why did she want to punish the naughty? Joey, do you remember?
No, all I remember is that she was mad at Krampus because Krampus wouldn't go against the orders to not punish people.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, but why? Like, what's your fucking deal, man? Like, what's your beef?
Yeah.
That
And then when you see her in her true form, it's like, how did Krampus get it on with her? It doesn't like the logistically. I know she's a shapeshifter. Should she have to shapeshift every time? Because he specifically says he's attracted to the monster version of her.
Yep.
And I'm like, those pieces don't line up, buddy. That's not gonna work.
Yeah, if she
Things
can
get
part
creative.
transform.
Magic is weird, man.
Yeah.
Do they acknowledge that Santa's sack of gifts? Like, is it an endless?
Oh,
where he just pulls
dude.
gifts out?
Okay, yeah, no. He has the helicarrier from
So they were just
Avengers,
copying
and it has
everything.
like
Yeah.
mini sleighs on it, and he's got drones, and
Literally
it's so,
drones, dude.
Yeah, it's like where they try to make it like too high tech, I guess. It's bad. It's bad. And anything that I did enjoying it is just something from another film, and I don't understand who it was made for. The visual effects look good. The makeup effects look great. I'm like, man, there's so many movies that could be better if they had better effects, and they don't. And then this piece of shit has really good effects in it. I'm
Yeah,
like, damn it,
it's funny because everyone always says like, "Oh, Hollywood is broke," but then they fucking like somehow pull out $250 million and fucking make this movie
for this. Yeah,
it's just it fucking baffles me, dude.
And spoiler, how do you get out of the ball if you're a naughty person? The power of love. That'll do it.
It's just so fucking generic.
It really is.
Like, I know we always say that about like horror movies, but like I feel like we rarely say that about like non-horror movies, but it's just that's like a Disney Channel fucking shit, man. and on another point is like, besides J.K. Simmons,
wait, Joey just said it was like a Disney Channel, and suddenly he had a lot more to say.
I have so much.
He's like, I'm in my element now.
I'm in the zone.
Box office battles. Let's go.
That's right. Besides J.K. Simmons, who's the fucking man. I love that dude. This movie is filled with every actor I don't give a flying fuck about, or do I even want to see. And the other big thing that I noticed while I was watching this is that the characters themselves have no fucking mojo, no Riz, as the TikTokers say, right? It's the fucking Rock playing the Rock, dude. Yeah. And Chris Evans is playing the same fucking character he always plays, besides Captain America, and he's a hacker, so he's like every generic fucking hacker.
Do they do the like with like terminal like Matrix stuff going?
Yeah, it's got no fucking soul whatsoever. And now, mind you, it is a soulless movie, but it wasn't horrible specifically because of the background. I really dug the background atmosphere and the sets too. Some of the sets were really fucking cool. Krampus's lair was fucking sick.
Yeah, Krampus's lair looked awesome.
Yeah,
I would love to see that in like a theme park. That would be fun to like go to. I don't want to watch this movie again.
Dude. Yeah, fuck no, dude.
Oh, they have a reality bracelet where you could turn toys into real things.
Okay.
And Chris Evans says he wants to do it on a Wonder Woman doll. And The Rock is like, it doesn't work like that. So it's like, oh, because he does it to a car, like a toy car. He makes it to a big one. I'm like, oh, I guess it only works on like inanimate object, but then like he makes a rubber chicken into a real chicken.
Real chicken. I was just gonna say,
and I was like,
that.
well, why couldn't you make a Wonder Woman doll into a real Wonder Woman? Like, I don't understand the.
That would be
logic.
great if he called him out at that point. Like, wait a minute. So it does work on living things.
That's a good example of this movie had a lot of like, it had a lot of potential. And it's just it's so fucking soulless, man. And it makes me angry. I'm getting angry. I'm sweating right now.
I know. I've never seen this side of you. This
Do you think this was since it's so derivative of things? Do you think this was like an AI script? They're like, hey,
oh fuck, yeah, that
bullshit?
explains it. Because it took so much shit. Men in Black, the Santa Claus, fucking.
You would
Thor.
think like
Oh
Chris
my
Evans
God.
would be like, hey guys, a lot of what you're doing is from the MCU. They're like, shut up, take the money. Oh,
Yeah, here's another $10 million.
Yeah, who directed this? Hold on.
Yeah, I'm curious to find that out.
Jake Kasdan, what has he done? Oh, he did. Oh God, hold on.
And I'll look at the writer.
Jumanji: The Next Level and Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle. But this is sad. He directed years ago. He directed Orange County and Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. Those are two great movies. And he did a lot of good TV stuff too. Freaks and Geek and Undeclared, and I guess he did Jumanji, and now he's like, I'm in the CGI rock business. Let's do this.
You know, it's the other funny thing is I heard that The Rock got paid a fuck ton of money to be in this movie, which is wild that he's still making that much money. Dude, it was something like $20 million or something.
Okay, Moana aside, I'm like looking at this like,
which Moana was not successful because of The Rock, right?
No. Oh God, no.
Yeah.
Well, the new Moana was supposed to be a TV series, and then early in production, they're like, nah, rework this as a movie, and they got him back. I'm sure the live action Moana will do numbers, although I don't know why. Fast X, he's uncredited because he's barely in it. Like, his last starring movie was Black Adam, which bombed.
Yeah.
Right. Again, League of Super Pets, he's a voice actor. That's a cartoon, doesn't really matter. Red Notice, the Netflix movie, I don't think anyone really cared about. Jungle Cruise, I don't think anyone saw. Like,
no, I didn't see that one.
I know he has a lot of money and stuff, but it's like, man, these movies aren't that great. Rampage I liked. I'll give Rampage a pass. Rampage was fun.
I think this movie was supposed to be like a Netflix original or like an Amazon Prime original, and then it got shifted like either early or later in development to be theatrical.
Well, I will say the effects look too good. Not every effect. I'm mostly talking about like the CGI backgrounds and stuff. There are some bad effects in this, but they look better than you would see in like an Amazon or Netflix original. I didn't put Dear Santa on the list, the one with Jack Black, and he's the devil Santa.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that one.
Because we've already seen Santa Slay, and that's the only devil Santa I need in my life, starring Bill Goldberg. Because when I think who's the right person to play Santa, I think Bill Goldberg.
Yeah.
The weird thing is he met his wife on that movie. It's like, how'd you meet?
Oh,
Well, I was
did he?
playing a satanic Santa Claus.
That makes it funnier.
But yeah, Red One. Don't see it. Not good. Hated it.
I already have not seen it. So
good.
You're gonna be tempted to see it. What if
you need something in the background?
What if you actually watch it, Gil, and you're like, guys, you were all wrong?
I think I'll be too embarrassed to admit it. I'll be like, yeah, that movie sucked. I'm gonna watch it again just to make sure. But
tomorrow I'm gonna like turn on YouTube and it's just gonna be like what Red One is really about.
The Woody Woodpecker sequel.
I forget we did that.
That's the best bit ever.